Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel.
Another week, another episode.
Wait, what did you say?
It's Deacon.
Where are you?
I'm in town. I need help.
Your kidney.
These things happen in this part of the world.
I suppose there was a woman.
Perhaps it is best if you just let it go.
It's mine. I want it back.
You're gonna kill whoever got the kidney? You can't do that.
Of course we can.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Pound of Flesh, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, which was released in 2015, and tells the story of a man's heroic attempt to help a woman in distress, but unfortunately he ends up waking up the next day without a kidney and plotting his revenge.
You do not know what your brother does for a living.
What I'm really good at is killing people.
Where's my kidney?
What's Bible for? Inspiration.
IMDb sum up didn't really do this movie justice. I almost read the one on Google, but I kind of wanted to talk about it myself a little bit. But yeah, so again, kind of continuing my slew of action movie reviews. Don't worry, I will be getting back to more horror type videos soon. But I enjoy a variety of genres, and I appreciate them for their own merits and such. It just depends on my mood. I've done quite a few Jean-Claude Van Damme movie reviews now, as well as Scott Adkins, Lundgren, Schwarzenegger, some others, and we'll be continuing those from time to time. But yeah, Pound of Flesh. It was just one I sort of turned on demand. Because I was in the mood. I wanted to see a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie again. This isn't your conventional JCVD flick. No. If you go and watch this movie, or if you go and watch like a movie of his from the 80s or 90s, which are fine in their own regard, then you go and watch this one. No, they're definitely different tones. Closest one I could compare this to is maybe Wake of Death, which I reviewed and also liked. But yeah, these they have action, they have fight scenes, but they're a little bit more held back, or a little bit more pulled back, I guess. Not quite as over the top. It's a little bit more character driven, both of them. But yeah, it seems like it's sort of a bizarre, weird premise, almost to make him go on this rampage. It's not like that at all. Like even the poster, or like the promotional image there, yeah, it's a cool poster. But it's not really about him walking away from big explosions and stuff like that, with like a scowl or something. It's not about that. This isn't a spoiler, but it turns out that kidney that was taken from him was going to be one that he was going to give to his niece, who's actually, passing away, or could be passing away soon if she doesn't get it, within the next couple months. So there's a tether there that I actually thought really, really worked. I will say the first 40-ish minutes or so, or basically the first act, it didn't quite work well for me. I mean, I thought the pacing was a little, I don't know if I want to say sluggish, but something was kind of off about it for me. It wasn't quite working. It was a bit meh. I did appreciate how methodical he sort of was with, going about trying to figure out who had taken everything and who it was connected to. Of course, turns out to be the girl he was with, a part of this whole sort of, setup of it all. But then, not just the action that picks up, but, we also meet his, brother, who, of course, the father of, of the niece that he was going to give the kidney to. And, we find out a little bit more about their past. There's actually a really good scene of JCVD's character, Deacon, and his brother, George, sort of arguing over, a past family dispute, because George's wife had, passed away some time ago, and there's some stuff over that. I don't know, I want to go into it, but then I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, of course, like I said, it has action. There's a couple of good sequences. I won't say this is the best Jean-Claude Van Damme movie action-wise, though I've definitely seen more exciting action bits in other films. But they're still fine, definitely serviceable if you're a fan. You get a shot of him like this, so there's that, of course, doing his iconic version of the splits there. So that was good. But yeah, and the performances, before we get to JCVD himself, the rest of them were fine. I mean, I thought the actress playing the woman, I already pictured did an alright job, and the actor who played his brother, George, John Ralston, I thought he was fine as well, although he didn't look overly alike. I don't know, it doesn't matter, I guess. I thought he did a decent job in his delivery, too. But Jean-Claude Van Damme, I kind of got to give it to him. I mean, alongside films of his, like Wake of Death, like I already mentioned, and In Hell, this is probably his best acting performance, I'd say. Like I said, maybe not the best action in this movie, but I think it was maybe his best acting performance I've seen alongside those. Because he had his kidney taken, he's obviously sort of having trouble pulling all this shit off. So kind of slowly as the movie goes along, he gets a little bit slower. You can see he's struggling a little bit more. He's getting a little bit more pale and everything. So he feels increasingly desperate, a little bit, weaker looking and such. And I thought he actually did that kind of well. And I've said this in some of my other action movie reviews I've done lately. It seems like with age, like Van Damme, Lundgren, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, it seems like they all got better acting-wise with age to at least some extent. And you sort of see that world-weariness of some of his past, with Van Damme's character coming through, too, that he portrays well with his expressions. And then the ending of it, I really liked a lot. It's honestly what kind of sealed the movie for me. It worked a lot more than I thought it would, and it kind of hit me more than I thought it would, too. So yeah, I definitely recommend this if you're a fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme, as long as you're not in it for the boom, boom, boom. And there's bits of that, and this final, like, assault on this mansion type of thing is, pretty good. But it's definitely not about that. So yeah, I might go more into direct spoilers after I give the rating here, so stay tuned. But yeah, so overall, if I had to rate this, again, percentages, people are obsessed with them. But if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a solid B, and an 83%. Like I said, probably one of the best Van Damme actual acting performances I've ever seen. But what held it back a bit for me again was still that first act, which almost felt like a bit of a chore to get through, and some of the action felt a bit just fine. But I don't want to bash it too much because this movie is definitely worth it, definitely worth watching. Even if the initial start of the story is a bit meandering, it's still very much worth it, don't get me wrong. I really, really liked it. Just for his performance alone, his portrayal. So yeah, direct spoilers. We find out more about that family conflict with his brother, and that, yeah, his niece is actually probably his daughter, Deacon's daughter. So it sort of makes sense why he's like so invested in saving her. He probably would be to some extent anyway, but still, you find out about this whole affair that he had with his brother's wife and such, when they were like separated briefly for a time. But yeah, and of course you get sort of a back and forth morality change with what his brother's going through. Excuse me. But at the end, they're at the hospital. It turns, they end up not taking the kidney from who they thought they could get it from, because it turns out to be a kid as well, even though the criminal was doing it. He had the kid he was trying to take care of too. And so Deacon, Van Damme's character, he decides to give his other kidney because he's dying as well. He had just gotten fatally injured in the last fight, and he's sort of letting it go because this is how he wants to sort of close off everything he's been through and such. And so I thought that actually worked really well. I can almost say great acting from Jean-Claude Van Damme here. And then when his brother hands him Isabella, the daughter, I thought it was really well done. And just as he slowly, kind of fades, and he just sort of eventually just lays back in the chair and passes, and the daughter's in the bathroom, and George isn't wanting her to come out, of course. And you see, like a year later, the daughter and George at his grave and such. And yeah, so I like that ending. Definitely one of the more unique, realistic, sort of character-driven endings that I haven't really seen as much of in these kinds of movies. So I really liked it. So yeah, let me guys thought about this one. What's your favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? Do you know what I mean about the comparisons between this and some of his earlier films? Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. Catch you guys next time. Peace.